Hello and welcome to today's webinar. I'm Kumati Virasingan, the moderator of today's webinar. Our webinar today is all about Introduction to Runlinc Code of Programming. This webinar is brought to you all by Malaysian Teachers Association, MASTA, in collaboration with Stemsel Foundation from Adelaide, Australia. Before we start, let me explain on how you can communicate with us during the webinar. If you have any questions during the presentation, just write them in the chat column. Now, let's begin. We are pleased to welcome our special guest, Prof. Miroslav Kostecki, who is well known as Prof. Miro. Prof. Miro is a Chief Technical Officer of Stemsel Foundation, focusing on AI social business startup. Pro Vice Chancellor, Technology Transfer of Central University Institute of Cuba, Bermuda in Cameroon. And for your kind information to all the attendees of webinar today, Prof. Miro is the inventor of Runlinc Code of Programming. So without further ado, with pleasure, let me welcome Prof. Miro. Welcome, Prof. Miro. We are so glad you could be here today to introduce the Runlinc Code of Programming to us. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, sometimes I find it hard to hear, so I need to make sure you can hear everything. So everyone can hear me properly as well? That's good.
Yeah, we can hear you. It's clear and loud.
Okay, excellent. So if I speak too quickly, please let me know as well, okay, so that everyone can understand properly as well. So I have prepared some slides, and then after that, we can also take a question and answer session afterwards as well. Okay, that would be good. So I'll share the slides.
Okay. Prof, have you shared this slide? Yeah, we can see your slide now.
Okay, you can see my slides now?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So I have to acknowledge that this slide set was originally put together by Pavana, who is actually a convent Butterworth school, and she put together some slides, and I then added some other slides on there as well. So she did a very good job over there as well, because after learning the Runlink, she was able to present the online workshops. Okay, so please let me know if I'm talking too quickly and everyone can understand. All right, so I will be presenting these workshops. So there are 8 workshops altogether. So the aim of the workshops is Runlink and to apply the workshops. So there is this introduction, and then there are 7 weeks or so during this period, the next 2 months in addition. Okay, so this will be hands-on after the introduction, but we would like everybody to make sure they understand the introduction as well. So it's an introduction to Runlink. So Runlink is a special technology which we will go through, and we will go through the contents of what is Runlink, the 5 functions of Runlink, the CSS, HTML, and JavaScript, and the advantages of Runlink, how Runlink has become popular, and the objectives of Runlink, and we have some special content, and also Runlink and us, and the actual 7 projects, and then the Q&A session. Okay. So how many teachers are there at the moment? So Kamathi, how many teachers are there at the moment? Can anyone hear me still? Hello?
Yes, Prof. Miro, there's about 22 watching now.
Okay. All right, good. Right, so I understand that this is also being recorded, and it will also go out then to the other teachers as well. Is that correct?
Yes, our session is recorded.
Right, okay. So it will be sent out to everyone?
We will put it in the YouTube, and we will share the link to everyone to watch it.
Okay, that's good. So I'll go through what is Runlink. So Runlink is actually a web page, but Runlink is a very different to a normal web page. Okay, because the Runlink, the usual web pages, actually just go from the computers such as YouTube, Wikipedia, Shopee, etc. And this is stored in powerful computers called servers around the world. But the Runlink is different to this, because the Runlink actually is installed in an electronic component called a microchip or a microprocessor. And this microchip actually then is linked to the desktop or a smartphone using a Wi-Fi connection. So it's a special microchip with Wi-Fi in it as well. So it's a Wi-Fi chip with a microchip in it. And the Runlink is installed in this component. Okay, so then that can be viewed in the web browser as well, just like the other web pages. Right, so the Runlink is a programming web page. So it's a development web page. It's an integrated development environment, an IDE, and that can also program electronic devices using the codes. So this is what the Runlink actually looks like, the Runlink page. So the Runlink page has many parts in it as well. So I'll step through the parts. And this is what the controller looks like as well, with the Wi-Fi chip on it. So the yellow part at the top is the Wi-Fi chip, where the number is. Okay, so there is only a little bit of memory in the Wi-Fi chip, but in the controller, this is like the fly on an elephant. So the Wi-Fi chip is the fly. The elephant does all the heavy lifting, but the fly can do the commanding. Okay, so this is where it is. And this is what the kit actually looks like as well with the Wi-Fi. So there are many components, inputs and outputs, that can be used on there as well. Okay, so there's 5 functions of Runlink, and that needs to be understood very carefully, the functions. So there's the control. So this means that you can control anything, turn on, off, such as lamps, buzzers, motors, etc. So the control. There is sensing. So there's sensors. You can have light sensor, temperature sensor. You can have a distance sensor, moisture sensor. And there is data logging. So when you sense the data, then you can take the data and you can do the data logging on there as well. And then the data logging can do the graphs. And there's also Runlinc can do the artificial intelligence, AI. Okay, so the AI is when machines think and work like humans, or they try to mimic the actions of the humans. So the Runlinc can actually use this from things like the browser. The browser already has artificial intelligence built into it that can mimic the actions, such as text to speech. And it does Internet of Things. And what that means is that this can communicate with devices and each other across the internet to perform tasks, either by clicking and performing the task with the human or without the human's help. So it can also be done automatically with the Runlinc. Okay, such as we have here a hand sanitizer. So the hand sanitizer then can actually check automatically the temperature while the person is sanitizing as well, and also take the picture and also check even whether this person has maybe has a high temperature. So you've probably seen the cameras with the infrared. They can take the temperature on the forehead as well. So does everyone understand me so far? Jenny or Kamathi, can you ask the audience if they understand me?
So far, they said it's clear, Doctor. No problem.
Okay,
they can understand you.
Okay, so these are the parts in the JavaScript. We have the CSS, the HTML, and the JavaScript, which is inside the Runlinc page. So the Runlinc is divided into the sections. So you see here the sections. We have the boxes, and the top box on the right is CSS. So this CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and what that means is that it can change the look of the page. The Runlinc can create a web page also, so it can make a web page which includes all of the 5 elements: the AI, IoT, control, data logging, and sensing. So we use the CSS to help to do the graphics. Okay, the HTML is used to actually display how we want it to display on the display. So we can where to put the text, okay, such as you see here, the width, the height, and even it can do drawing, circles. It can put pictures. It can put graphs. You can put the data, such as the temperature, onto the page. So this is how we make the display. The JavaScript is the code which actually runs in the background of the web page we make. And we use the CSS, HTML, and JavaScript because this is the native language of the internet and the browser. So it means that the IoT and the page which you can make also can work on the laptop and also the phone and also the tablet and any operating system. So even if it is Apple, Macintosh, it can run on the browser. So 70% of the world programmers actually use JavaScript, so it's the most popular language. So the CSS describes how the information appears on there, such as the font, the style, etc., such as this font here. And the HTML is what appears on the screen, text, buttons, tables. So this HTML, for example, will create this heading and this paragraph. Okay, and the JavaScript controls the behavior of the web page, the functions. Okay, so this JavaScript then will, for example, when you click on the display date, then it will display the actual date on there. So it's a function of the buttons on there. So the JavaScript is an internet language. The native language, it is IoT internet language. So let's have a look at the advantages then of using this Runlink. So the advantage is that it only takes hours instead of months to create the IoT AI web page. So for example, if we have an intruder alarm as the project, then one line of code on that intruder alarm can actually create vision. So it only takes one line of code and you can take the vision. So on the alarm, we have a camera which is on the phone, and that camera then will stream to the laptop. So you can go from, for example, the phone to the laptop, or from other cameras also to the laptop with one line of code. Okay, so even the local Wi-Fi will work on the Runlink as well without the internet. So with 2 lines of code, we can also then include in the project 2 more lines of code. In the intruder alarm, we can create on-off buttons. So it means we can control anything anywhere. So not just the lights on and off, but we also can create an alarm on there as well. So other systems actually takes hundreds of lines of code. As I will show, there has been a comparative research study. So I will show that a bit later. Okay, and then if we want to include 3 lines of code, we can add AI voice synthesis. So in the JavaScript, we can change the text to voice. So for example, if the project is the intruder alarm, then the voice can actually say, stop, you've been detected, the police are on the way, run, or your picture has been taken, sent to the police, so you better run or you'll be caught. Okay, so anyone with a basic computer and internet knowledge can do the programming with Runlink. This is actually very different than other languages and need a lot of teaching to be able to do it. So the programming is easy because it's also done inside the web browser, which makes it give access to the internet for the IoT. And it only takes a very short time to learn and apply the Runlink. Like I said, only hours instead of months to do that. And the Runlink codes are in very simple lines of English, so you can understand the codes very easily. Both yourself and the students will be able to understand. Okay, so if we, for example, compare the Runlink versus the Arduino, then the Runlink only needs the 6 lines of code to make the intruder alarm, while the Arduino needs 300 more lines of code. Many lines of code. We've actually been asking people who have done Arduino, and they've seen the Runlink and they've confirmed this as well. and it's also been proved by a comparative research paper. Okay. Okay, so I'm sure that many of you have actually used Arduino before. So if I could hear you on this webinar, I would be asking how many have you have used Arduino. So Kamathi or Suhaili, you can check and see how many teachers have maybe used the Arduino before as well that are with us. So this comparative research paper, which I have here, which compares using Arduino IDE versus Runlink IDE for AI and IoT applications, was actually done by a professor at the Royal University of Bhutan, so Professor Sangay, and also with him was the Professor Nalim, who's in Sri Lanka as well, who's a specialist in AI. So they wrote this paper together, and then this paper was actually published in Springer magazine, which is a US publisher. And so both the experiment and the survey, they did both, showed that Runlink is easy and faster to realize the development of the IoT and the AI applications. So if we compare then the Arduino versus the Runlink, then even from the comparative research paper, then we can see the Arduino, because it takes so many lines of code, it's like taking so many steps. So if you have to take 300 steps, maybe even that's not enough to go all the way up, the Twin Towers. Maybe there's probably even more steps than that. Whereas the Runlink is like the lift. Okay, just go there and press the buttons, and 3 minutes and you're already up. So it's very, very different, and also easy and quick to use. It's too difficult for most people to be able to take the stairs compared to the lift.
It's a kind of highway to reach in a short period of time.
That's right. Yes. So have you found out how many teachers know Arduino?
Right now, the audience have replied that many of them have used to Arduino quite some time already. They are used to Arduino.
Okay, so is it all of them? Or...
So far, there's only one or two. So far, 2 have responded out of 39 audience right now. We have.
Right. Okay. So who's the teacher that knows Arduino?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we can see that Runlink is actually becoming very popular, because even the Royal Bhutan Smart City project, the King of Bhutan actually wants to make STEM a daily language of his people in Bhutan. He's collaborating with Runlink team to teach Runlink to the students and university students in his country. So that is actually happening at the moment already in Bhutan. Okay, and even in Australia, Runlink also is being used in to show how garbage can be recycled in Australia in the garbage truck project. So these trucks programmed with Runlink can detect the type of rubbish, and then it can reduce the amount of carbon dioxide actually being released into the atmosphere. So it's food waste going into the bin. So the food waste can create carbon dioxide, and also the trucks as well. So the food waste can create the methane gas, and the trucks the carbon dioxide. Okay, so in Malaysia, the Young Inventors Competition in Malaysia, we had 13-year-old Max Weir from Australia actually won the Inventors Award in Malaysia after designing using Runlinc. When Runlinc was just new, he enabled electronic monitoring system for the compost bins. So he was those bio bins. He actually presented then to the Australian High Commissioner over here. So I travelled with him. So this is how they win not only competitions, but they also win scholarships in different places as well. So even in Malaysia, we have examples of students winning scholarships already, actually because of the Runlink that they can use. And then they can aim at jobs as well. So this is really increases their employability. Yeah, so they can start from primary school upwards. So the objectives of Runlink is the quality education. So since Runlink is easy, students can learn the technology fast, they can apply it, they can solve the problems rather than wasting the time on the technologies. And the skill can help to increase the future, because they often get on games. They, at home, especially during the COVID period, they're wasting time. Rather than being too difficult, then they'll go on their games, and then they get game addiction as well, which is also causes a big problem with the family. So we have families where they say that not only the student doesn't sleep, but the family ruins the lives of the families too. So instead of this, then they can use the Runlink to actually win the scholarships and use the STEM that they can learn with the Runlink. It also has gender equality. So gender equality is the fifth world problem listed by the United Nations for Sustainable Development Goals, SDG. So with Runlink, the female gender can now participate equally as the male counterpart in STEM education, as well as in the relevant employment, and women can boldly explore science and technology to create inventions, innovations as well. So this is going to effectively double then the human resources that are available for this, to be able to create the innovations. And the STEM, so the STEM then creates much more money for the economy. So the economy then grows. Okay. So I had here a video. I'm not sure if the video is actually working. If not, go on. I'm actually going to send some video links out as well with all of these things. So, okay, so Runlink and us. So basically, we can learn easily, learn the programming easily, get to know the programming technology, increase the graduate employability, and prepare ourselves for the IR 4.0 and also the IR 5.0, which is the IR 4.0 is Internet of Things, IR 5.0 is artificial intelligence. So the 7 projects which we will be covering in the next 7 weeks. So week 1 is the introduction, which I'm doing. The week 2 will be the camera streaming. So the one line of code which I described will actually, you will be able to do these projects hands-on. So we're using the online Runlink. So you don't need to have the hardware. You only need to have your laptop and your phone. And so the camera streaming will be the camera from your phone will actually stream onto your laptop. The week 3, we will be doing the automation control. So you'll be able to do the buttons, which buttons can turn on, off, and also we will see how we can even draw on the web page, the HTML, and be able to change colors and shapes on there as well using the buttons. Very easy. Week 4, we will show how the Runlink can simulate, for example, the traffic lights. So the traffic lights can do a sequence. Okay, so and we will show how we can step through that. On week 5, we will be doing a storytelling app. On the storytelling app, the students can actually create their own web page, which can be shared, and they can be creative. So the storytelling app is designed to go on a phone, so they can even put in there a picture on their story. They can add a text for voice on their story so that it can actually tell the story. And then students will be able to then even send text to a web page as well. So you can type in the web page and create the story. So this, in effect, is their CV. This is their resume that they can show. They can send it to other people, and they can then show others what they have made, and they can all put the information about themselves or about other things too. Okay, then week 6, we're doing the AI object recognition. So the AI object recognition means that not only we have a camera, but the artificial intelligence then can check what the object is. So the Runlink can use the artificial intelligence, the AI, so it can check whether it is an orange or a banana or a mouse, or many other things such as a fire, so create a fire alarm, or a thief, etc. On the week 7, we're doing information voice buttons, so they can create the buttons and then they can link it to their own voice stories. So they can put many buttons on there and then put voice stories for many functions, or they can explain information on their page next to pictures, for example. So they can use this to show their own projects and give information to others. Week 8, we have AI voice recognition. So instead of text to voice, then the AI browser can then detect the voice and then change it to text. But then the Runlink can also check the text and also take action. So you can give it commands, for example, to draw a square or a circle onto the screen. Or even we have students, and we'll have links to videos where the students have told Google Home, for example, to draw a graph on their page. So Runlink can do AI voice recognition. So these are the projects during the 8 weeks. So if I can have some interaction, it'll be good if I can have a question and answer session at the moment. So let's see. So question and answer. So let me just stop the sharing, and I'm happy to take some questions.
Okay. Prof. Miro, right now there's no question from the audience in the chat box. I've checked.
Sure. Is it possible also to introduce Peng Chu? I'm not sure if he's in the waiting room, to also be able to make some comments, take some questions.
And Prof. Miro, we still have time. If you don't mind, can you share the videos with the audience?
I don't have the video. I don't have the videos actually prepared in the background. I have. Let me see if I have a few videos. Is Peng in the waiting room at the moment?
Dr. Peng, I'll check here.
In the meantime, let me find the videos too.
Okay, there's one question from an audience. Prof. Miro? Mohammed Najib bin Jafar have asked, Do Runlinc have stimulation to test what we have programmed?
Actually, that's a very good question. Sorry, let me just...
Hello, my name is Joshua Cartledge. I'm 12 years old, year 7 at Pengisian Primary School.
Okay, sorry, just preparing a video. So that's actually a very good question about checking simulation, because on the Runlink page, if, for example, you do just one line of code, you can press the stop code and run code, and you can immediately see what the code does. So if you're making the page, then you can see the code actually building. The other thing that you can do is you can put in one line of code, and then you can see whether the status is turning on and off. So if, for example, you want code to automatically, say, blink your lamp, then you can put in the code and you can see whether the on-off button actually turns on and off automatically as well. So there are many built-in features that actually allow you to do step-by-step and actually see, similar to doing simulation, but it's better than simulation because these things that are on the screen also linked to the real things. So it means that you can actually be building as you're doing the things, okay? But JavaScript, HTML, CSS also allows you to make your own simulations, okay? So we'll be also explaining how you can start to do that, such as the traffic lights as well. Okay, I hope that explains. We'll be talking about that more.
Okay. Prof, there's another question from Ahmad Izzuddin. He's asking where to buy the Runlinc hardware, the microchips that you have mentioned just now.
Okay, the Runlink hardware can be bought directly from us. So we have had people order directly from our webpage, but also because we're going from Australia to Malaysia, then it's usually better to make some arrangement, because we also usually have some stock also in Malaysia. So it's easier then to transport locally from KL, for example, out to Malaysia. So if you have some inquiries to us, then we can do that.
Okay, and there's another question as well. What is the microcontroller beside the board?
The microcontroller behind the board.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the top, the Wi-Fi chip is actually an ESP Wi-Fi chip, okay, which has the Runlink inside. And then underneath that, there is a microcontroller, which is a PIC microcontroller, PIC microcontroller. So what that does is it communicates with the Wi-Fi chip on our board as well. So this is the microcontroller. Yeah.
So does this mean we need to buy the microcontroller specifically for Runlink? This question was asked by Harnani, and he said that, I wonder if this microcontroller compatible with sensors that I've used with Arduino.
Yes, they are. Okay, so many people have actually used our microcontroller with Arduino sensors, because the microcontroller can simply take an input on/off. Then you can use the sensors which are also on/off on Arduino. Many sensors on Arduino are on/off, such as the distance sensors, also the tilt sensors, or the sensors with volume. So all of those are on/off switches. Also, like the Arduino sensor, which can sense the people as well, can be used. But also other sensors too, such as an infrared distance sensor, which has a voltage. So any of the Arduino sensors also with the voltage can be used. And even sensors that are not Arduino can be used as well. because all of these are actually signals which are the same. So there are many, many sensors. We have even used pH sensors. Okay, so pH in liquids can be sensed and then turned into a voltage which can be put onto a graph in a web page.
Okay. From Izanurdina Hamad. Hi, Prof. Do we need to have the kids for the next session?
No, these workshops we are doing is without the kids. Okay, so it is without the kids. But I will also give an option. So we have a Runlink page which is online, and that Runlink page can be used with all of the workshops. We also have, and that Runlink page is called Runlink version 1.1. But I'm also going to give an option where people can also use the Runlink version 1.2. The advantage of the Runlink version 1.2 is that they can create their own web page that they can share. So the version 1.1, they can make the Runlink and they can see the Runlink, but they cannot make the page to share. The 1.2, they can actually put onto our server, and then they can share the link, and then other people can see what they have made as well, and then they can go back also. They can save their work on both versions, but on this one, they can actually share the link. On the 1.2, this is actually, we're going to give a voucher, and they can have 1 month free. And then after that, if they want to use that service where they want to share the links, then they pay a small fee per month. So that's only a very minimal fee. But this is actually a big advantage because they can share it with their students, other teachers, and other ones as well. So I will be showing this feature as well on my workshop next week as well.
Okay, thank you,
This is an
Prof.
option. They don't need to have that. They can use the 1.1 if they wish.
Okay, I would like to welcome Dr. Peng from Stemsel Foundation, Adelaide.
Hello.
Yes, Dr. Peng.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't get my laptop connected properly, so I'm using my mobile phone. Yeah, I was listening in all the time, and thank you so much for organizing this. A wonderful experience sharing. And
Yes,
I think there is a question that may not be fully answered about the microcontroller. In the kit that we have, that Miro show, the microcontroller there is actually the PIC chip, the PIC controller. PIC controller is now owned by the same company that owns these Arduino chips. The Arduino make use of certain chips that's owned by Microchip Technology now. So I'm not sure whether the person, can you identify the person that asked the question? Is that clear? Because I think he or she asked about what type of microcontroller was it that the Wi-Fi chip is controlling. Is the question still there?
Yeah, he asked whether that they need to buy a microcontroller specifically for Runlink, or else they can use the microcontroller that currently they use for Arduino. So the question is it the Arduino microcontroller is compatible to Runlink?
Okay, so Miro, you want to answer that question or?
Okay, so they need to use our microcontroller. If they want to use a microcontroller, it needs to have Runlink inside the microcontroller, but they can use the sensors from Arduino. So they can use all of their input-output sensors already with the Runlink. So they don't need to they can reuse all of those sensors. They can put more sensors on there as well. Our kit actually includes some sensors already, but they can even use other sensors and more sensors. But they need our controller.
I think there was already a discussion with Cikgu Suhaili, isn't it, about the two types of the options. One is pre-built, which is what you've seen, much easier to use because it's already pre-soldered. And with all the driver chips and things like that on board, you can use it for for any experiments that involve this STEM, to include Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. And so there is another microcontroller which is called the Nodemcu, and that Runlink is also embedded inside that microcontroller. And so that is very low cost. It's very compatible in terms of cost to the Arduino that you buy, and then because it comes in one single chip with Wi-Fi, so it's much easier to, I suppose, for those who don't mind jumper wires and things like that, which Arduino have, right? And this Nodemcu also have that jumper wires that you need to use breadboard and so forth. But if you're used to Arduino already, for those who have, then this possibly is the option that you want to go to. And as Miro say, all the input outputs, all your sensors that come with the Arduino can be used with this Nodemcu. As long as you don't mind loose wire that sometimes cause problem. And we have many experiences from university students even, and they obviously find it difficult when the thing reset itself because of the loose wire, and a lot of troubleshooting too. So the other option is the Stemsel controller, which is using the PIC chip that Miro showed you earlier. That is all pre-built. And so generally, primary school students will start with that, and then they get used to these basic projects, beginners projects, into intermediate, and then go on to do very advanced projects as well. So there are two choices there.
Okay, dear attendees of the webinar today, feel free to ask any questions to know more on Runlink. Okay, there's another question from Ahmad as well. Is there any data sheet available in the internet to go in depth about GPIO, pinout, and etc.?
Yes, there is. Of course, we on our web pages we have all of the inputs, outputs, etc. I/O. But also we have more than that. We also have documented projects as well, so they can follow the short projects. We have beginners, we have intermediate, and we have some advanced. We have AI projects, and we have communications projects too, with documents on there too they can follow as well.
Can I at this point ask whether, is that Mr. Izzuddin, whether you have actually seen the drone demonstration, the drone STEM education demonstration? Can we get some sort of response from Ahmad, the questioner?
Ahmad Izzuddin, please respond whether you have seen on the drone display the other day, the demo.
If not, we can arrange that again so that you can have more, because it looks like if you're talking about data sheet and things like that, maybe another session with Miro would be very helpful for you to go in depth with him.
Okay, Doctor.
Yes, I'm happy to separately go through and talk about these things and do a demonstration in depth, also stepping through the Runlink and even connecting to the drone.
If no question, maybe I just add until the next question come. A little bit since we last met, I assume that most of the teachers who are attending tonight's webinar may have seen the drone demonstration, but that is a huge icebreaker, the drone demo. And it caught the American by surprise. Since the last time we came onto this PGSM, isn't it, the demo, we did similar demonstration with Papua New Guinea, and as well as with America at the same time. So Papua New Guinea was controlling our drone in Australia, and the American professor in computer science saw the demo, and we have a lot of Q&A, and they said that they have not got this technology in America. They have not got similar thing that they can ignite interest of STEM in America like this. So they order the kids and going into STEM summer camp. So we will be inviting them, hopefully at some point, to interact with our teachers in Malaysia so that they can start sharing STEM experiences. So what I'm trying to share with you is the information we got is STEM comes from America. We brought STEM into Australia in 2005 and then into Asia. And that was way too far ahead. It was about at least 10 years ahead of the interest of STEM, which really started strongly about 5 years ago in ASEAN countries. So then, being from America, the information that I got just 2 weeks ago, and teachers in Malaysia now have the advantage of making use to connect to supporters like the big tech companies like Microsoft, like Google, who are very competitive with Apple, for instance, all selling laptops and operating systems to the schools in Australia. So before the Americans make this global news, I think the Malaysian teachers can take full advantage of it, knowing the secret first. As to how you take advantage of it, I think it's a simple question of making a case study and show it to Microsoft in different countries. And then hopefully they'll give you support that you need. You know, and even Apple, because this is the programming that we are doing now is in browser. It's not actually inside the computer. And so there's no cable required. It's all through Wi-Fi. And Miro also qualified that you don't need internet if you don't have internet to use Runlink. You can use your local Wi-Fi. And these are important information to really put Malaysia ahead of many countries. So happy to take more questions if there's any.
There's no question at this moment.
No questions?
Prof. Miro, is the video is ready to view?
Yes, I do have a video here of Josh. So Josh was a young man who actually did the one line of code for the camera, and then he extended his code. So I'll be able to share that video. I'll share that video now. Sure.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay.
I think I have a quick question here from the post here. What is the cost to learn about Runlink? And so I suppose the cost is you need the equipment. Because if you want to exploit and take full advantage of the competitive technology, this kit, I think, is about 450 ringgit. But with the single chip, the Wi-Fi chip, the Nodemcu, remember I said there are two options. And the other one, I think, is about 100 ringgit or something like that, which is compatible to Arduino when you buy all the inputs, outputs. But for most teachers that we have come across, they were using Arduino because they didn't know about Runlink, right? So they have already a lot of these components that they can reuse with this Nodemcu, which is, as I said, retail, I think it's about 100 Malaysian ringgit, which is much more affordable if you don't mind the loose wires for those who are using Arduino. How long would it take if we want to order many kits from Stemsel? It depends on how many. If it's in the hundreds, not a problem. You would be able to get it. Let's say if you order 100 kits, you would probably get it within about 2 weeks. 50 kits, let's say, when a bulk order like that, we call it bulk order. Within about 2 weeks, you should be able to get it because of the freight.
Okay, Dr. Peng, there's another question from the chat. To integrate the microcontroller with IoT application, could it work together with IoT platforms such as ThinkSpeak?
Such as ThinkSpeak
ThinkSpeak
or Blink.
or Blink.
Okay, I think Miro possibly has a lot more knowledge on that. Can you see the question, Miro? To integrate the microcontroller with IoT application, could it work together with IoT platform such as ThinkSpeak or Blink? But the question is that necessary? What does these two things do that Runlinc can also do? Then you save a lot of time to integrate it.
Okay, so these applications are pre-packaged and put onto the internet so that they can connect in. And the answer is yes, full stop. Yes, you can, absolutely. But then you will not understand what you are doing because many of these are pre-packaged. If you use the Runlink, then actually you can see the steps in your code. And this, when it's pre-packaged, it becomes a problem. If you are teaching AI, IoT, and you simply just grab something and say, okay, we're going to use this library or this package, then the students do not understand how to change it. Okay, so the Runlink can grab the libraries, it can grab the Blink, it can grab many things, and you can put it in. But when we go through the workshops, we also show how you do the lines of code. The lines of code are very simple. So then you can understand. So when you do your camera, you can understand how to link the camera. You can understand how to add it to your project. So you can build the project. If you use the Blink, then you can also build the things on, but then you are limited as to, first of all, what you can do, and then secondly, your understanding of the project, which obviously then is a problem as well.
Okay, and there's one more question to go. Is it suitable for kids 10 years old and need any prior knowledge or skills for it?
A fantastic question. Maybe I can help there.
Yeah, sure, Dr. Ben.
If we come to technical, then pass it to Miro. I'm just an observer of parents, children, teachers, professors. And so my observation is, because we have inventors clubs, we organize inventors clubs for the last many years, 2 hours, they finish a project with no prior experience in coding. Because these are kids as young as 9, 10 years old. And every Saturday they spend 2 hours, they will finish a particular project. And then they keep building up their knowledge. And by the time a year is over, let's say about 40 weeks times 2 hours, we have 4 terms here. And each term is 10 weeks. So 40 weeks times 2 hours per weekend. So that's about 80 hours per year. And they would have completed a lot of projects. So I think my observation is to tell the teachers, have no fear. Because if the kids can do it, you should be able to do it. Your challenge is time. And if you don't have the time, please don't stop the kids from learning either, because we are facilitators. Yeah, we just facilitate and we are the gatekeeper. Let them through. They will be supported internationally using the Stemsel network. Like we've been working with Thai professors, and they have schools connection too. Their STEM research centers are highly advanced set up. But when I say advanced, same as everybody else, they found it difficult to teach, struggling for the last 5 years, very small numbers. You know, if you're talking about percentage, you might be lucky to get anything close to 5% of students able to use Arduino. And if they cannot use that, then they opt to have games, which is even worse, you know, the AI game addiction. So they can see how Runlinc now is so powerful that through the research from so many countries, at least 10 countries, that they are beginning to invite us. Hopefully we'll invite you too to come on to sharing experiences on the STEM conferences. And one is in November. And as soon as they saw the drone demo, they invited us to become keynote speaker. So we would like you to share your experience together with us in November, 24th, 25th of November. Take note of that. And quickly build up your case studies. And then beyond that, we become part of their organizing committee. And not only that, Miro is part of their technology committee. This repeats itself. Just go to show the demand for Runlink is that they can see value so much that, of course, they are new, so they have to rely on us for now in order to speak out, you know. But very quickly, Thailand will become quite advanced in terms of, because they are very organized. They are linked to about 20 universities in STEM research centers that's funded by the government. And so they started purchasing drones and things like that already. And of course, similarly, like Malaysia, they want more equipment. They have to look for funding. But because they have the secret, and you should be able to get funding, they are getting funding from industry as well as from their own government in order to take advantage of this secret that they found. Hours instead of months to make Internet of Things projects, AI projects that is part of STEM. So it's only 4 words to create that link to industry to support you. Is hours instead of months, because industry needs very skilled IoT, AI, STEM trained people. So they will support you for that reason in different way. Equipment, maybe even the time, engineering. And one of the things that I would share with you now is for teachers, if you can't connect to university students, and they will be able to support as well, because obviously Malaysian students, they speak Bahasa much easier. And then you can, they will gain too, because that is part of their employability skills. And we will make them our interns as well. We have many interns from Malaysia too. But if you can connect to a university like UPM, which I think is that Zaki or Suhaili, Cikgu Suhaili or Cikgu Zaki. Is that the right name? Zaki, I think. And so if you can get about 15, 20 students from UPM, because I think there was some connection there already. And then we will train them in a few days, and then they can continue to support this group of teachers in TGSM. So that is one thing that I think we should do together quickly, so that, because we can do the training very fast. And we have done before, one group of students, about 10 of them, but then now they graduated, and we can do that again with them. We have an arrangement, with UPM.
Thank you, Dr. Peng, for the suggestion. We will alliance with Stemsel with eShop solution to become sole distributor of Runlink in Malaysia. We will contact Stemsel soon. Our PGSM will arrange it.
Yeah, so that we can provide, the local support. As I said, it's a win-win. They will increase their graduate employability, because these are 3rd year to final year students in engineering or computer science. And then as they help the teachers, they will be job ready, a bit more job ready.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yes, just to comment on that one, we do want some distributors there, because then it's much easier in Malaysia to get the Runlink, of course. But at the moment, we're not looking at any sole distributors, so there will be other sources of being able to get the Runlink. Okay, so please welcome to be able to talk about that. Sure. Okay, I'm happy to try to show this video. I've not tried a video on this platform, so let me see if I can share this video, because then it will make it easier next time as well. So let me see if I can share this video now.
Okay, Prof.
Let's see if that's working.
My name is Joshua Cartledge. I'm 12 years old, in Year 7 at Mitcham Primary School, and I made the rainwater tank monitor project for the Royal Adelaide Show Technology Competition and won overall first prize. Here is a demo of the Runlink technology developed by Stemsel Foundation with an IP camera. Now I have a phone with the IP camera app here, but you can buy cheap $10 or so IP cameras available online. And this one line of code that I have here, this iframe here, is going to get the camera input from the phone and then broadcast it onto the Runlink webpage. So I run the code here. You can see that. You can see my desktop, computer, keyboard, and all of that, just with a single line of code. Very nice. There are several uses for this. Door monitoring systems can cost up to hundreds of dollars to purchase and install, whereas can be done with Runlink and an IP camera cheaply and efficiently. You can make scouting rovers that can be sent to burning buildings or other places where it is unsafe for humans to go, search for any survivors and rescue them. Now, with just 35 lines of code, we can have AI object recognition in real time with a live video feed. This can be used to identify faces or threats, such as animals, to farmers, crops, or livestock. Now I have some objects here for the thing to recognize, and so I'm going to run the code, and it's going to load the model and video, and once that's loaded, we can now put, for example, an orange in front of it, and it'll say it's an orange, and how confident it is with that in percentage. So right now it's about 50% confident that's an orange. We also have a banana here, and put a banana in front of it. That's around about 70% confident it's banana. It works with most objects. For example, we've got a computer mouse. There we go, works there. And that's only 35 lines of code. Pretty amazing. Thanks for watching.
Okay, how do I finish that share?
Okay, thank you, Prof.
Okay, that's
yes.
just to explain that video too. I showed Josh how to do one line of code for his camera from the phone, and then he did it, and I said maybe make a video of this to explain how this works. And he sent me this video, which actually did the object recognition in addition, to my surprise. And it surprised me because I had never done that the way that he did on the Runlink as well, directly as well. It was running very fast. So he was able to tell me things himself, and he's only in upper primary school. So when the students actually understand what they can do, then they become very creative and extend their projects.
Okay, thank you again, Prof. Miro, for answering those questions. And thanks also to Dr. Pang for both of your precious time spent with us with great presentations. And it was indeed a pleasure to have you both with us today. With that, we conclude the webinar for today. For your kind information, dear attendees, we we have next session on 9th July with our second workshop title, Introduction to. The second title will be on Prof. Miru. Okay,
Yeah.
so stay tuned with us and lock your dates on 9 July for the next coming session. And our next topic will be, Prof. Miro, what's the topic?
So the next topic is actually that same topic. So the topic is how to actually get the camera from your phone, for example, and stream it onto the Runlink webpage. So then I will be stepping through, and then hopefully everyone in the audience can actually follow and do the same with their own Runlink page and also their own camera. So this is a hands-on session. So after today, everybody can open and actually try it and themselves.
Okay, that's great. So, dear attendees, for your kind information too, our PGSM, with the collaboration with RVR class, have organized a competition to all the teachers of Malaysia. So let's watch a short video clip about it.
Apa tunggu lagi? Ayo, daftarlah segera.
Sila layari www.rvclass.com sekarang.
So, jom sertai kami dalam pertandingan RVR. So, thank you all for attending the webinar today. So, we really hope you have learned and enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.